It's I did a blog post on it at one point, so
Oh, okay, cool.
thehammerstrikes.com. Look it up.
Plug.
My show, the whole thing's a plug. Podcasting, the final frontier. This is the Hammer Podcast. Its 30-minute mission: to rehash geeky topics, to seek out new bastions of nerdiness, to timidly go where the more talented have gone before. Greetings, and welcome to the Hammer Podcast, the official podcast of thehammerstrikes.com. My name combination of Obi-Wan and Han Solo?
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character is really cocky and smugglerish, yes, and a Jedi. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're also using a lot of the Ralph McQuarrie design stuff, like Zeb, for example, the alien.
Which is great, yes.
Yeah, I love it. And you look at some of his old paintings, and it's like, oh, yeah, well, that was this episode of Rebels. They used that right there.
Yeah, that is one thing that I think that might be the thing I look most forward to. I mean, I enjoy the story, and Chris hit the nail on the head, and Gene, you mentioned it too. Some are better than others, some just don't hold my attention, but I always have an eye open for that Ralph McQuarrie stuff. I really like the way they're incorporating that into this series.
Yeah, and it's almost seems like where it's going now. Matt, I don't know if you've caught up or not.
I am about 2 or 3 episodes behind, so
okay. Well,
give a base.
They've started to move more towards the idea that all these individual rebel cells are going to come together into the Rebel Alliance.
Okay.
And that seems to be where they're heading. And if this is going to basically tell the story of how the Rebel Alliance started, I think it could be pretty good. Like you said, there are some good episodes, some bad episodes, but the ones that are good are really, really good.
Yes.
Those are really memorable, like ones that have like I actually, I like the cameos.
Yeah.
Like that's really like that's what's sucking me in more and more. Like just when I'm like, this is bad, then they have Lando or Vader or something, I'm like, oh, here I come. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's not just Lando or Vader, it's Billy D. Williams and James Earl Jones.
Right.
Correct. You're right, yes, that's even better, yeah.
Of course, Billy D. Williams, I think, is paying his bills by being Lando and whatever the hell people want to pay him to be Lando in anymore.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
nothing wrong with it.
Nothing. I'm all for it. Yeah, get the guy some work, get me what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, but I find myself I'm enjoying it in I get to see more Star Wars that I like. This is the era of Star Wars I like. It's right around the time of Star Wars, and that's what I call it, is Star Wars.
Right. Well, have you been watching these episodes once in a while? Like when Lando was on, I'm trying to guess how old he is on the show.
Right.
And then my brain's saying a thing. Well, if he's maybe in his early 20s, then Han has to be here somewhere. In this galaxy far away, Han has to be somewhere on this show. Like he has to show up sooner or later. I'm hoping for like other major characters to pop in.
Well, at 5 years before Yavin, he may still be an Imperial officer.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting way to bring him in.
I want to see him walk by a screen and just say, hey, and that's it. So I want something, Han-ish to appear on Rebels, which I think in time, if it lasts long enough, who knows?
Yeah, and it depends on where they're going with it, but...
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised Lando doesn't have the Falcon yet, really.
Yeah, that's
a good point.
I was hoping there'd be an episode of him and Han playing the card game, and here's the keys, and he loses the Falcon. You know what I mean? Like, show me something that we've all heard about.
Yeah,
no, that could happen. I mean, they don't. Disney is, I'm assuming, putting this out for the long haul, so they're not going to make every cameo in this first season. So,
right.
I mean, the Falcon is a cameo, Han's a cameo, that card game's a cameo. Right there is 4 events that they can stretch over the next 4 years.
Well, the card game's already been it. That was in the
Well,
Lando
I'm sorry. I mean,
episode.
they did set up the existence of the card game. Now, the card game between the two is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They could use that as another event as well. Or if they even really wanted to, if they wanted to make the fanboys happy, which questionable whether they do, they should include the dice in somehow. Those dice that we see in the first Star Wars in the cockpit. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be very interesting. Yeah.
I actually this is a origin story. I actually was invited to see the premiere of the Spark of the Rebellion from a listener of ours at a movie theater. They were actually showing the premiere of Rebels.
Wow.
I know. And I was like, how do I do it? What do I do? And I remember seeing it at a theater with like maybe 20, 30 people. And here's my memory. Was that about the baby Chewbacca's?
Yes.
Okay.
Was it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So.
Okay, good. Because I remember.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. That's right. That was. Yeah, I can't remember. Of all the glowing things we said about it, I think we all agreed that the Wookiees looked terrible in that episode.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. But I still got a little bit teary-eyed during certain scenes in that episode. Like, I'm in the theater ducking down, I'm getting to tear up here a little bit, and I really enjoyed it, though. I really enjoyed it. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, this is going to be the greatest cartoon ever. And then, I saw other ones. I said, nah, never mind.
This is one of the I did enjoy the premiere, and it set something up that I don't really watch much TV as it airs. I kind of let it collect and catch up on it later. Now that's where Rebel is now, but the first up until their mid-season break, it hooked me into a weekly viewing. I did not expect it to do that to me.
And you of all people, because I remember you were like, who cares? But you kept on telling me, I watched it again.
Yeah.
And you were hooked. Yeah.
And really, I think the mid-season break actually kind of hurt that, because now I found the joy of watching 2, 3, 4 at a time, and I was like, oh, well, this is I actually can do this easier than making sure I'm in front of the TV at 9 o'clock on whatever night. I don't even remember at this point. So, but I think had they not had that mid-season break, I'd possibly continue to do that.
Right.
Well, we watch it not on the night it's out, because I think the Super Bowl is the last thing I actually watched live.
Right.
But I set the DVR for it, and if I notice it's there, it's like, okay, when do we need a half-hour show before my daughter has to go do something? Okay, now we put Rebels on. No problem.
Right. Yeah. I think the thing I watch live nowadays is The Walking Dead. Everything else, I DVR.
I was going to say, Walking Dead for me, and that's because if I don't, Chris is going to tell me what happened before I see it.
True.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of tempted to do that with The Flash, just because everybody talks about The Flash immediately after it's on, so it's just like, okay, I can't watch it till the next day. Don't look at Facebook at all.
That's the worst part about Walking Dead. If you're not watching it live and you go in there and see Tyrese is dead, oh boy.
Spoiler for anyone that isn't watching it live, Chris.
I mean, if he would die.
Well, by the time this comes out, if they still don't know that, then they're not actually watching the show.
That's true. Okay.
That's right.
We're famous for saying spoiler after the fact on our show. So why should this recording be any different?
Good point.
Spoiler: you shouldn't have listened to the last 2 minutes.
That's right.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Not being a fan of the prequels, one of the things I wasn't a fan of is there's always 2 Sith, etc., and all that crap. What do you guys think of the Inquisitor character?
He reminds me of a dog. Like, seriously, like almost like Tarkin or someone just looks at him. You know how you can look at your dog and your dog knows to sit, stay, roll over, or whatever. And he just gets this look, and he knows what to do. Even though I love who's the voice? Who's the voice? Chris Isaacs. No, Chris Isaacs.
Hold on.
Jason Isaacs. I love him. So I do love the voice, but the character, I'm like, he just stands there and does nothing.
Yeah, I really don't. Man, I don't know that I have an opinion. I think I don't like him because and it's not because of the Rule 2 thing. It's just he's got yet another lightsaber, and he is not as impressionable to me as Darth Vader was. Now, granted, I was 5 when I met Darth Vader, so that might have something to do with it. But I don't dislike him. There has to be a villain. There has to be an antagonist, and they're not going to use Vader in every episode. In fact, they're probably not going to use him much at all. So I'm going to have to get used to him. I'm still kind of undecided at this point, real honestly.
Yeah, I like the idea that Vader is training others, but when I first saw they had a double-bladed lightsaber, I'm like, okay, they're going down this road again.
Yeah.
And then they made it into a propeller.
It's
and
fun.
Yeah, that's just a little too far, I think. Because
the engineering experience in me looks at that and says, I don't know where to begin to tell you where this can't work.
I know, yeah. It's like, okay, well, the blades are coming out. It's the projector's in the handle, but now the blade's not near the handle. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's a cool visual, but do all Sith need a gimmick? Really?
Yeah, it's like almost like Darth Maul's double-bladed saber and Grievous's spinning technique all rolled into one.
Actually, what would be that's funny. That's you just gave me an idea. What would have been better? Well, I mean, it's not aimed at me. I gotta remember that. But if it were aimed at adults, the Inquisitor should have a cybernetic arm, and his wrist is the thing that's actually spinning it, not the saber itself.
Right. That would make more sense.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, well. It looks cool for the kids, I guess. That's
exactly.
Yep. Now, the one character that I do like is now I can't even think of his name.
What's he look like?
The agent, Mutton Chop Boy.
Yeah, I know
Heck is his name. Yeah.
Travis or no? I know exactly who you mean. It's like you take off his helmet and his goatee beard is in the shape of the helmet.
It's in the shape of the helmet. It's like the helmet is there to protect his sideburns.
Agent Callus.
Callus. That's Callus. Yes.
Him I like.
I liked him too, especially the first episode. I think his there was a great character moment for him when the rebels got away and the stormtrooper asked if it's the first time I ever saw a Jedi, and his answer was to kick him in the helmet and to presumably his death.
Yeah, really. Yeah, yeah, I enjoy him because he's got some backstory, because he's got the honor weapon that Zeb uses, but he killed most of Zeb's people to get one.
Right.
And he's basically a complete prick.
Yeah.
And he's happy about that fact.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I would prefer him more than the Inquisitor as the big bad, really. You know, maybe save the Inquisitor for like the season break thing. Oh crap, the Inquisitor's here, we gotta make a special effort, but have Callus be the main bad guy, which he seems more or less to have been up to this point, but he's also smart.
He is smart. Yeah, yeah.
You know, like it was in the premiere where Sabine put that, what I can only assume is what is going to be the rebel symbol,
right,
on the ground out of the explosive paint, and he ran his fingers through it, and you saw the look on his face, oh crap.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he ran because he figured out what was going on. That's the kind of villain you want. You want a smart villain.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's just too easy.
Right.
And this is, I don't know how far off the track this is, but this has been, what I like about him is what you describe is your example is perfect. He's a smart villain by getting in there and seeing things and having experience, and the experience is expressed through that scene, which is the opposite, is why I don't understand why people love Thrawn so much, because Thrawn just knew stuff and you didn't know why he knew it, and it was like no explanation. Whereas Callus, you can see he's had experience with this paint and whatnot. You hear things he says and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And I like a smart Imperial officer of this version much more than Thrawn in the books.
Yeah, I haven't actually gone back to read those books since they came out, actually. So I don't have much of a memory of Thrawn other than the artwork.
Me neither.
Chris doesn't read any Star Wars past the opening scroll.
I've been reading these comics now.
Oh, okay, that's true. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you're right. I never read any of his books back in the day. Never. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I like how you see his thought process. Callus's thought process in this, and how he kind of seems constrained a little bit by the bureaucracy, because you have the lieutenant governor, or whoever the hell she is always on him. Oh, well, you have to catch them. Oh, have you gone to this ceremony yet? We need you there. Well, let me do my job.
Right. Exactly. Back off.
Back off, Slick.
Back off, man. I'm a Ghostbuster.
But another thing I like in this show is the attention to detail.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand it's a kid's show on Disney XD, so you can't have subtitles. Everyone has to speak Galactic Standard, for want of a better term. But the Ithorian that runs the bar, he's got something on his neck.
Yeah.
That's translating for him. I love that.
That is a great detail. I agree.
Yeah, he's not just speaking normally. There's a reason he is.
Right, he's like Stephen Hawking almost, yeah.
If you listen real close, there's a alien murmur underneath that basic. So they're also allowing the alien-esque nature of that character to be portrayed in the show as well.
Right.
It's weird. I think you're right. Like Clone Wars had subtext, but you're right. I think in Rebels there hasn't been anything to read yet. And maybe it's because it's for younger kids, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
They don't have any subtitles or anything because they want everybody to be able to watch it, which,
Yeah.
for being on Disney XD, that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah.
There's some other details. Now, I mean, again, the show is for kids, but they know full well adults are going to be watching this. The Ralph McQuarrie stuff is a great example. You guys had to have been as excited as I was. I think it was in the second episode where the Imperials used a transport that was the Imperial transport from like the 77 line of toys that has never been in anything before.
Not only did they use it, they had people riding on the outside.
The only thing that was missing is that, and maybe there was, because I don't remember, they didn't have, that I noticed, a line that the actual toy said while in that vehicle that I know of. Maybe there was. I'd love to go back and find out. I just don't remember everything that toy said.
Yeah, I know I had that toy. I don't remember. It's been so long.
But that was a very cool thing to see and use pretty well. I mean, it wasn't just, hey, look what we remember. They put it in the story and made sense out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There was actually a little price tag of Kitty City on it. Oh, Kitty City.
Kitty City, that's going way back.
It is.
Now, again, not having much experience with Clone Wars, I know James Arnold Taylor was Obi-Wan in that, and he was Obi-Wan in the holocron in here.
Yes.
Stephen Stanton, he played Tarkin in the old? Okay.
He did, yeah, which was a great episode because I don't think Matt's seen this one yet.
Not yet. No.
It opened up. It opened up. I mean, you saw it, right, Gene?
Yes, I've seen them all. My daughter won't let me go about a week without watching the most recent one.
She's a smart girl. This opened up like almost shot by shot, like the opening of Jedi. Like with Imperial shuttles, like coming in, landing. The thing comes down. All of the stormtroopers are waiting, but rather than being a Vader and the Emperor, it was Tarkin. It was so cool seeing it almost like shot by shot, reminding you. Huh? This was in Jedi, huh? Remember, huh?
Yeah. See, I was expecting Vader.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch any previews. I try and go into the episode cold. So, like, when they say, next week on... No, I stop right there. No! I don't want to see
Turn
it. So I see all this, and I'm like, holy crap, they brought in Vader.
Yeah.
And then Tarkin comes in and is like, that could be worse.
Right?
And Stanton does a great job with the voice. Like, he really turns himself into Tarkin, and it's so good. It really is.
And then they also brought in I don't know how much they paid him, but they brought in Frank Oz as Yoda.
That shocked me.
Yeah.
I thought he was done with performance. I mean, he's been done with the Muppets a long time. He came back for Yoda in the movies, but it was just voice work, and I thought that was his kind of farewell to performing. Once to go on to concentrate on producing and directing was a rumor I heard. To see him come in as Yoda was a complete surprise to me, and a very happy surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was nice. It was disembodied voice, but it was Frank Oz. It was
right,
amazing.
Yeah.
So you've had Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, James Earl Jones as Darth Vader, Frank Oz as Yoda, and Billy D. Williams as Lando.
Yeah.
And most importantly, Paul Rubens as RX-24, just like the old ride.
Yeah. I know Matt loves that.
That was my favorite part so far. I mean, if you have an old original Star Tours reference, and that was more than a reference, that was an homage. I mean, they're not going to top that for me, no matter what they do.
Yeah, there are a lot of nods in this, and I don't know if it's not just Disney, because I've seen it on other shows, but this is something that wasn't around when we were kids. When we were kids, a kid's show was for the kids.
Yeah.
Whereas now they realize, hey, we got parents watching too. We gotta throw them a bone every now and again.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
A lot of the shows that my daughter watches, it's that way. Like, she's huge into My Little Pony. The end of the one episode, they defeated the big bad guy and all. It was a shot-for-shot remake of the medal ceremony at the end of Star Wars.
Cool.
So she didn't get it.
Right.
She thought it was this great ceremony. I'm there like, thank you very much.
Was there one pony that got no medal?
Actually, none of them got medals.
Oh, okay, all right.
But there was, the one gave the princess a wink, You had the dragon in place of R2 that made the other pony giggle. You know, there's actually a YouTube video out there with them both side by side, and it's hilarious.
That's cool. I gotta check that out.
Yeah. It's I did a blog post on it at one point, so
okay, cool.
thehammerstrikes.com. Look it up.
Plug.
My show, the whole thing's a plug.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be interesting. I want to see how, where they go with the show, especially if they're going towards the organized rebellion, because we've already had Bail Organa in it.
Yes.
He wasn't interacting with these guys, but we've also had this other senator, the guy that does the pirate broadcasts.
The guy who looks like is that the guy Gail Travis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Senator Travis.
I don't know how I missed this, but somewhere well after I've seen him, I've learned that was Brent Spiner.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that. I mean, I really need to turn in my geek card, but I need to turn in my Tutu Freaks t-shirt, I think, for missing that one.
No, because Brent Spiner can do voices.
That's true. Okay, that's true.
So he's not being Brent Spiner. He's actually getting into the voice work. Because if you ever seen him, you ever see him on Night Court?
No. Night Court? No.
Night
Yes.
Court.
Oh, you don't know this? Oh, this is awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear Chris's reaction.
He played a hick. And it's hilarious to watch now, knowing who it is. But back then, he was just doing the over-the-top, dumb hick routine.
It was that hick family that showed up once every season that always had some kind of major tragedy that just kept getting worse and worse the more they talked about it.
Well, our
Chris,
grandfather
I know
died.
you know the character. You might need a picture to remind you, and I'll find one for you.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I watch that all the time. Night Court, yeah.
Yeah, but you see that and you recognize it as Brent Spiner, and it's hilarious. But then, so that's a different voice than Data, which is a different voice than when he played Puck on Gargoyles, another Disney show.
I haven't thought about that one in ages.
So he has a good acting range, so I don't blame you for not recognizing who it was.
All right, then.
So you can keep the shirt.
Okay.
I'm actually looking here. I watched that Hulk and the Agents of Smash show with my son, and he's the voice of Silver Surfer. I didn't even know that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched that show, so I'm not familiar with that version of the Surfer.
It's awful.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
It's awful, but my son Luke likes watching it. I like the Avengers cartoon a lot more than the Hulk and the Agents of Smash. It's so bad.
See, I prefer the other Avengers cartoon, the Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
I watched that too when I was on. Yeah.
I preferred that to the current incarnation of it because it seems like they just went down a level. They kiddified it a little more, and that kind of turned me off to it because I was the only one watching it. My daughter didn't want anything to do with it. I don't know why, because her first theater movie was Thor.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, I knew it was the right decision because if you remember, and boy are we on a tangent here, but if you remember when Odin came to Jotunheim on Sleipnir and the horse reared up and you saw the extra legs and everything, she stood up on the seat in the movie theater and cheered. This is a 3-year-old at the time.
3-year-old.
That's awesome.
Wow. And then she slept through the rest of the movie.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, back on topic.
Yeah, well, we built an entire network on not being on topic. So.
We go way off, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I've seen mentioned a lot, and it didn't occur to me until someone pointed out, is Hera, who is the pilot for pilot captain, whatever, is a Twi'lek female.
Yes.
Not in sexy clothing.
Oh yeah, right. Okay.
Right. She's covered. Yeah.
First one ever. If you look at anything Star Wars, how many Twi'leks did not at least have their cleavage exposed?
Right. Yeah.
Let me think back here a little bit. Hold on.
Chris is flipping through pictures. Nope, not that one.
This is Chris's area of expertise.
The most modestly dressed, and that is a stretch of that definition, was Ayla Secura. But I mean, come on, her midriff and her cleavage, like you said. So, and that was, and it's all downhill from there. Well, in a good way, but
I see it, Matt. I see the picture. Yep.
Oh, you see it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I remember. Oh my, he has like a full head of hair.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, it was a while ago. Yeah, so you have two Star Trek characters in Night Court.
Oh, John Lorquette. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at Matt. I know this one.
I didn't at first, but then I remember that. That question. I think that has been in every stinking bar trivia thing I've ever attended. Is something to do with John Lorquette in Star Trek.
Now, Gene, can I ask you a question?
You can certainly try.
Who's your favorite character from Rebels? Because I have one. I want to hear what yours is.
Zeb.
Oh, okay.
Zeb, he's honorable because of what he had to go through. You know, he became an honor guard for his species, etc. But he's a smartass.
Yes.
And he gives you a bit of comedy in the show, and I like that.
See, that's a great explanation. Now, go ahead and ask me mine.
Okay, Chris, what's your favorite character?
Sabine, because I think she's pretty darn hot.
Shocking.
Yeah.
I have no explanation, but I do like her a lot, and I do like her spray paint of fuel.
Right.
I do like that little something new, which I think Matt and I talked about it.
Yeah.
On the first episode, it's like it threw you off. Like, why is she painting stuff? Who cares? But then when you knew it was like gasoline-ish and it lit up, oh, now it's cool. But I like her a lot. I think she's sexy and she's hot. I like her.
This is a cartoon.
Matt, you know, my brain doesn't think that way.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, she is an interesting character because you don't know anything about her.
Yes,
You know she's a demolitions expert. She speaks alien languages. She went to the Imperial Academy at one point, and she wears Mandalorian armor.
And that is actually the most interesting aspect of her. And I this will rain hatred upon me from Mandalorians, but I mean she has Mandalorian armor gear and she has a helmet. I'm not saying she is or isn't Mandalorian. I'm wondering if there's a much broader story behind that, and she's not truly Mandalorian, or in maybe self-proclaimed Mandalorian working towards being Mandalorian. I think there's a story there yet to be told, and I know a lot of my Mandalorian friends are not going to like that because they've embraced her as the fantastic character. I don't think that is entirely the story yet. I think there's more to come on that, and I'm hoping I'm right, and I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that she has the armor. I don't think that she's necessarily a Mandalorian warrior. Because if you look at her, she doesn't have a complete set of armor.
Yeah, and there seems to be, and this is, I work with quite a few people from the Mandalorian Mercs with our charity work, and I get in these conversation loops without even trying. I just get out of emails, and people notice additional kit. They call it kit that she gets every episode. So something's going on that she's getting a little more not necessarily every episode, but as the show progresses.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But then, I come from the Fen Shisha days of Mandalorian warriors, so that's.
And 2 years ago, I would have no idea what you meant, but now since this charity work, I know what you're talking about.
And Chris still has no idea.
I went to the bathroom. I'm back. But I think she's hot. I'll be honest, I was actually going on to her voice actress, Taya Sakar, and you know what? She's hot too. Awful.
I sense a pattern developing. Of course, there's been a pattern in, 150 some episodes of Star Wars in character?
Yeah, never gets old.
Now, the one character I do want to find out more about, beyond Sabine, is Kanan, the Jedi.
Yes. Yeah.
It seems, I'm not entirely sure, but from his haircut and the way he's acting, I don't know if he ever made Knight.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I said that when we discussed the premiere of it as well, that is a character whose story I think could be excellent if it's told well. One of our guys at News, as Lou, had pointed me to, I guess there's a book that is a prequel story to this. I forget its name, and I have not read it, but apparently there's more explanation in there, but not the complete explanation. But I don't know what that story is, and I do need to follow up on that, just out of curiosity now that I remember.
Yeah, let me know if you find out what that is, because
Okay, yeah, I will.
Interested. It's just one of the things that struck me is from the prequels that the Padawans had a very specific hairstyle. Now, he doesn't have the braid, but he's got that short ponytail thing.
Right.
Back, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if he never quite made it to Knight, and now he's training somebody else. That could go very bad very quick. Just ask Obi-Wan.
I've always been intrigued by the idea, and it's never... I shouldn't say that. It probably has been explored. There got to a point in Star Wars books where I just couldn't keep up. It wasn't that I didn't want to. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not stumbled upon a story of a self-trained anything, Jedi or Sith or Force user, and this could be an interesting exploration into that, in putting it into the new canon. And I don't count Mara Jade because I can't stand that character. So,
well, she's been dumped. Remember, it's
that's
the
true.
old you
She doesn't
that's
count
gone.
anymore. Yep, that's true. So, I mean, this could have potential for something I've often wondered about throughout the expanded universe. And now that we're starting over, maybe I'll get a satisfactory or the complete opposite answer out of this character. Who knows?
Yeah. I find it interesting that he has a two-piece lightsaber, too.
Yeah, Chris, you remember talking about this? We didn't quite, I mean, I guess it's to hide it, so if someone picks up one piece, they don't know what it is, but he seems to assemble it awfully quick an awful lot, so I don't know what that is.
What's really blowing my mind is Ezra's lightsaber.
Oh, with the blaster built in?
That was surprising.
Yeah, it's like a staple gun design.
It is a staple gun.
Yes,
That is
it is.
the first thing I said when I saw that. Oh my god.
It's like a lightsaber and a gun all in one. It's like, you better be careful. You don't know which ends, what. You gotta take your time, I see Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character. I don't even know his name again. I was calling Freddie Prinze Jr. I see him. Do you guys see him like maybe dying and then becoming like the Obi-Wan for Ezra?
Well,
kind of thing.
The problem is, if you go by everything in the movies, Ezra either never makes it to Jedi or does, and then he and Kanan both have to die because Luke is the last of the Jedi.
Right.
So sometime in the next 8 years, story time, they got to go away.
Yeah. That was something I know Chris had brought up talking about Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, and they kind of wrote her off as she just quit. Now, can you just not be a Jedi anymore? Is that what could happen to this guy? I don't know. Isn't that what kind of happened with her, Chris? Because I watched.
Yeah, she just walked off. She just said, "I'm leaving," and she walked down the steps, and that was it. I watched the taxi, took off.
I watched the Netflix episodes because that was the last, and I figured, well, I know how this started. I should see how it ended, and I did see that she just kind of is like, I'm not a Jedi. See ya. And I'm like, can you do that? I guess you can.
Well, apparently, but if you go back to the old Dark Horse comics, the Dark Empire, there was a Jedi in there that was living as a bum.
Oh, that's right. She gave Leia her saber, right?
Her saber and her holocron.
Yeah.
So there's a precedent for it. It doesn't exist anymore in the new way of things, but
right.
It's still possible to walk away. Now, the issue I would have with that is, okay, you're not a Jedi. Does that mean you're going to sit on Tatooine and watch another Jedi just get his ass handed to him? Because everything ends up on Tatooine eventually.
Everything. Oh, yeah.
I am well out of my wheelhouse of this knowledge. In fact, Dr. Bill should be here for this. But I mean, historically, wars on just a single planet, and in fact, in just a single country, here people do get away from both sides. Some of the bad guys get away and live their life out in secrecy, and some of the good guys that were high profile managed to live a life of anonymity. Surely that's possible in an entire galaxy worth of wars. I don't know. And it seems like something very likely that he could get away and not be seen again.
Right. And it's a huge galaxy, so you can go hide anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can go, whatever, to a galaxy far, far farther away,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play it out, because it has to tie in to the other movies. It's just the way it is. Those you can't change.
It's funny when you say that, and I don't, Chris might be behind on these shows, but when I say that a lot too. I say, well, it has to do this, and then I hear Chris Honeywell's voice in the back of my head. What does it matter? They're just gonna start it all over again in 10 years. I'm like, yeah, that's possible. They might not have to do anything.
True. Yeah. I don't know. it's the old cranky fan in me.
Yeah,
that says,
I know,
no,
right?
It has to tie in.
Yep.
But then again, I'm the one that was trying to explain the Marvel Star Wars stuff that was written before Empire Strikes Back came out, that had both Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker on the same planet at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a mirror. That's it. It was just a mirror.
No, actually, someone came up with a good explanation. Because Luke was given a lightsaber, said that the lightsaber Luke had, his father's lightsaber, said, oh, well, the Jedi that used to have this came to this planet with somebody named Darth Vader. So you would think, oh, Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. Well, supposedly there's this honor oath where Jedis exchange lightsabers. So Vader gave his lightsaber to this other guy, and that's when they were on the planet, that's what they saw.
It's like baseball cards. They just trade their baseball cards.
Yeah, really.
All right, okay.
Put the lightsaber in the spokes of your bicycle wheel.
And he had no more wheel.
No more legs.
Wow, that is so far-reaching that I didn't follow it, and you don't need to explain it again. I'll just say okay.
You can listen to the episode when it comes out and be confused all over it.
Okay. Now, are you guys... I know Chris is. Gene, are you reading the new Marvel comic?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, well...
It's not that I don't necessarily want to. It's that no way in hell am I paying $5 for a comic book.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I do agree. I was going to ask what you thought the stories compared to, and without having a long discussion, I'll say I'm enjoying Rebels way more than that comic.
That's a good thing I'm not getting it then.
Yeah. Chris, have you read the second issue?
I did. I just read it a couple days ago. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm liking, like, I guess I could just say I'm liking the characters, obviously.
Yeah.
But but you're right. It's there is a few things, and that's why I think our comic book reading on our podcast would make the comic better.
That's true.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's just I'm not buying any new comics nowadays just because of the price.
Yeah.
They could have the best story in the world. There's no way I'm paying that much. I'm sorry. Walt Simonson, who is one of my favorite ever writer, artist, creators in comics, has come out with this independent, I think it was IDW, published it, Ragnarok. So he's also taking on Norse mythology, which I also love.
Yeah.
And it's like this confluence of things. I actually wrote to him on Facebook and said, Walt, I love you, but there's no way in hell that I'm paying $5 for a comic book, even if the All-Father himself drew it. And he responded, well, maybe when it's out in digital.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And guess what? It's still expensive in digital.
Is it really? See that?
Yeah.
Kindle's going the same way, and this has absolutely nothing to do with Rebels, but digital is catching up to print, so there's like almost no benefit to it, but that is not a discussion for this episode.
Yeah, we've drifted into back to the bins territory here.
Right. Okay, in all fairness, to put a circle on it, the thing that's pointed out the comic prices to me is back to the bins, because Paul Spatero did ask me to be on sometime this year, and I was looking through my comics and looking at the prices going, are you kidding me? How did these companies make money charging this little back then?
Because it was a pay-for-work contract.
Yeah, right.
All the creators were under. Residuals,
Yeah, exactly.
What are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got boxes of comics actually sitting right next to me. I think the most expensive one in here is maybe $1.75.
There was
wow.
I was looking through my Grimjacks because I think I was going to pick Grimjack, and I got to issue 75, which is a triple issue, nice, not hardcover, but cardboard cover, glossy print, like $1.95. And I was like, I remember debating spending that much back then, and that was for something special.
Yeah, it's just insane the way prices have gone.
Yep.
And Tim, I've been buying 2 of each comic.
Really?
I have bought. There's certain covers. There's a cover that has an action figure cover.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 90s.
Yeah.
I know, and I really enjoy that freaking cover of every action figure, and I think that's what I've been getting, and I've been getting that and like an ordinary comic of it, version of it.
There's a guy I work with. I won't say any names, not that he ever will listen to this, but he's a casual Star Wars follower, and he knows I do the Star Wars podcasting and follows Star Wars and whatnot, he was under the impression that the Star Wars comic took the Netflix model and released the entire set at once because of all the covers.
Oh, silly boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there is 100 covers of the first issue, right? I think.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. And in fact, if not that, you might be right.
And I think that's Tim even told me that's his mission, to collect every issue of the first issue, 100 covers, every cover. I know.
Good luck with that.
Exactly.
It's called Google. You can see them all.
Yeah, exactly. Print out a piece of paper. It's a lot cheaper, you know.
Heck, even do cardstock. Make it a really nice.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that. Note to self. All right, I'll do that.
Well, I would say we're sufficiently off topic to say we're done with the topic, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right.
Yes.
All right. Well, why don't you guys tell the lovely listeners where they can find you at Star Wars in Character and all of the other wonderful podcasts that you do?
All right. Chris, you want me to take lead on this?
Help yourself. Go at it.
Okay. Well, everything we do now is really easy to find. After years of separate hosting, we put everything under our main production name, which is neozaz.com. That's where you'll certainly find Star Wars in Character. Chris is doing a just about weekly episode of Pass the Popcorn, which I'll let him tell you more about that. We also have a couple other in character formats, Indiana Jones in Character, Muppets in Character. There's just a slew of different podcasts now with different friends of ours as well. There's Dial-Up Movies, which is a look at the 90s movies. We have The Grady's, which we are actually, this is an exclusive, Gene. We are working diligently on relaunching very soon.
Yes.
So our 80s based show, The Grady's, is coming back, and Trailer Pod Boys is coming back. The Trailer Park Boys are back on Netflix, so we are back covering them, and we are back with new episodes very soon. And we've even got to the point of where when we want to talk about something that doesn't fit in any of our subjects, we just list it under specials. I had just covered the Orion capsule launch at NASA last December, and that just certainly didn't fit in anything we do, so I just listed under specials, and there's more of those just about every month. So, Chris, that's that, whatever you feel is necessary.
Tim and I do Pass the Popcorn, where we go see movies. You know, we see a lot of movies. My wife's a manager in a movie theater. Costs me nothing. I walk in there, see whatever I want. Tim pays, and then he sneaks in to 4 more movies that same day. But we see movies all the time, and we just talk about, what we thought of them. I mean, good, bad, whatever. It's just me and Tim. We always talk about movies. So you can see us on Pass the Popcorn on NeoZaz, and we are going to do 50 Shades of Grey tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
So stay tuned to what I had to say about that masterpiece.
Would that be masterpiece in quotes?
Yes. Only master in quotes.
I knew it. I was like, come on. Where is it? There it is.
Oh, I'm being PG.
Oh, boy. Yeah, definitely check out all the neozaz.com podcasts, guys. It is well worth your time.
I'm going to say this, Gene. You have one awesome, deep voice. like your voice is really good.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm told I have a face and voice for radio.
Oh, jeez.
I see your face right here. It's pretty. I like it.
Well, it helps when you lose a little bit of weight.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that. I did want to try to fit that in here because I haven't heard anyone else say it on your show. But we're friends on Facebook. We've cultivated a friendship over these podcasts. Great job on your weight loss. I don't even know what to call it. Your current your weight loss and what you're doing to take care of all that. The before and after pictures have been great, and I really want to say great job and good for you.
Oh, thank you very much, Matt.
You're welcome.
It's actually a lot easier than you would think. I just don't eat as much. I'm not joking at all. I don't exercise or anything. I actually had to go out because my work pants have been getting a little on the loose side. So I had to go out and buy some today at lunchtime, and I'm back in a 36 waist.
Oh, wow.
Which I haven't seen since high school.
Right.
Yeah.